Okay, so supervision is a one-to-one meeting between a worker and their line manager where they will discuss the work that's been undertaken, so they can look at the families and children that they're working with and the best way of progressing them. It's also a safe space where workers can have their emotions contained and get the emotional support that they need in what is obviously a very stressful job. Supervision is important because without effective supervision, social workers won't get the right support to make the right decisions that will achieve the best outcomes for the children and families that they work with. Well, formal supervision should take place at least on a monthly basis between worker and their line manager, but I think it's important to think around supervision not just as that meeting in a room. There could be informal supervision, other conversations that happen outside of that formal arena, because supervision is a process rather than a meeting. So I think it's just making sure that you ensure that once a month you have that one-to-one time, but also factor in the other elements of supervision as well. It's important that both parties prepare well for supervision and have a clear agenda of what they want to discuss. It's also worth remembering for the worker that it's their supervision, so they need to be not passive in the sense of letting the manager dictate everything that's discussed in supervision. It's also important that both worker and manager make sure that that is protected time and that there are no interruptions, as an interrupted supervision will not be an effective supervision. There are three main elements of supervision. One is to discuss the work that's been undertaken with children and families, so what we would call case discussion, so manager and worker discussing, reviewing those cases and how to move them forward and what needs to be done. As well as that, the worker's personal supervision needs to be covered to make sure that there are no personal issues that may be impacting on their work, discussing things like their workload and things like that. And their performance, and then the other issue is around their own personal development, so considering needs such as their training needs and things around their development. Well, at the start of any new supervisor relationship, hopefully a supervision contract will be drawn up between supervisor and supervisee, which outlines expectations on both sides, because it's important that everyone's clear about what they expect from supervision. However, supervision isn't a one-size-fits-all, and it could be different to each individual. So if you feel you're not getting effective supervision in any way, hopefully you will feel able to raise that with your line manager. If not, you will need to raise it with their line manager, as it's imperative that you don't feel you aren't getting good enough supervision. Is that double negative?
Yeah. What should you do if you feel you're not having effective supervision?
If you feel that you are not receiving effective supervision, then you will need to raise that with your line manager. Hopefully you will feel comfortable enough to do that. If not, then you will need to raise that with their line manager, as it's vital that you do receive a good quality supervision. If, as a supervisor, you feel you are not providing your workers with effective supervision, then again, get some guidance from your line manager about how you can improve that. And also the council run 3-day training course called Effective Supervision, which can be accessed through the Practice Workforce and Development team.